So I'm going to be reviewing the anime Mieruko-Chan. I don't know if it probably is already on a manga and the season 2 is already out there. Don't spoil it for me. Please do not spoil it for me. I've only watched the anime and this is what I got from it. I really liked it a lot, but there are some things that I want to discuss before you might go ahead and watch it. So the story of Mieruko-Chan is pretty much a high school girl, just like very normal high school girl, friends, her family she's close to, blah blah blah, etc etc. All of a sudden, just randomly, out of nowhere, she started seeing like these, not demons per se, but monsters in a sense, undead, like ghosts. Yeah, there you go. Ghosts might be a better word. Hey, they might be some demons, but they're like not nice ghosts. They're like the dark part of the ghost itself, but she started seeing them all of a sudden, and now it's just this high school girl, very innocent, has no idea what's going on, trying to get rid of this and just pretend she's not seeing anything. And I think the story is really interesting. There are a few things I really like about it and a few things I really don't like about it. So one thing I really like about it is the artwork, especially of the monsters or ghosts or demons or whatever themselves, because I like watching scary things, but sometimes they're a little too scary for me, so I can't watch them and I get freaked out. I think it happens more with video games, but sometimes it happens with different shows and it's just a little bit too much for me. But what I like about this is it's scary, it freaks you out, but it's not scary enough that after I turn off Crunchyroll, I don't have to worry about having any nightmares or freaking out, and I could just watch it at night instead of having to watch it during the day. So it's not really much of a scary show. If that stuff freaks you out, then maybe it is a little bit scary for you, but at least for me, it was more just like interesting because I wanted to see what happened to this girl. Like I wanted to see what would happen if one of the monsters or ghosts or whatever found out she could see them. So that's something that I liked, was the artwork was nice, wasn't too scary, but was very unique in its own sense of style. Another part I liked was, again, the story. I just wanted to see what would happen with her. I think the thing where she just automatically just did not react and just pretended she didn't see it was something very relatable, and I think that's why I kind of wanted to see how it would continue on. I don't see anything scary. I'm gonna knock on wood somewhere. I don't ever hope I do, but you know when it's like really late at night, if you watch something scary or heard about something scary and you're turning off the lights outside in the living room and you're trying to run, or you see something, you just pretend, nope, I didn't hear anything, I didn't see anything, just going on with my day, because you're freaked out a little bit but trying to like remain calm. I just felt that was really relatable, so I wanted to see what would happen, because that's always a thought that crossed my mind in real life. So being able to see what would actually happen if that were true in this story was something that I found enjoyable. Another thing about the story too is I like how it laid down the plot, where you kind of see her learning more and seeing different types of monsters and figuring out how to get rid of them, where to go to, where to ask for help in a sense. Again, I don't want to say too much so I don't spoil it for you, but I like that even though she's learning all of this, it's kind of like a slow burn. I know slow burn is more used for romance, but it's still kind of slow in the sense that I get to see how it unveils without really knowing what happened. Like, how did she get the sight in the first place? And again, don't spoil it if you've read the manga. I think there's a manga, so you probably already know, but I am waiting for season 2 to be able to see why. But I do like how I get to see things unveil little by little. Some things too about the story where you just start to feel somewhat heartfelt towards the ghosts or demons. Not all of them, some are gross, and I will get to that in a second, but something like spoil alert here, skip to this time to be able to not hear this one. When she just saw like this grotesque monster in her living room around her mom and her dad. So again, if you don't mind the spoiler or you've already watched this show, it was just so sad when she like realized who it was, especially after she saw her dad and just went to get the pudding and put it on his altar, and then all of a sudden the monster went away, and it was just freaking cried during that part. I did not expect to cry. I just knew it was like, oh, this is kind of like spooky. I wonder what happens. But then it just made me remember that maybe the monsters is just the darks. Again, I don't know. I don't know the answer to why there's the dark side of the monsters and what happened with the dad, but just tugged my heartstrings, and I feel like just being able to have some emotional parts to an anime is really important because it gives the story a more dynamic plot. I only had like one dislike. I know when it comes to anime and that culture, like, there are gonna be some ecchi and kind of scandalous scenes and parts just because, I don't know, that's just how it is, you know? I grew up watching anime, so I already know that's how it is. And I see it when I watch different anime shows like My Dress Up Darling, for instance. But for some reason, even though My Dress Up Darling, they were in high school, and Mieruko-Chan, they're also in high school, something just rubbed me the wrong way about Mieruko-Chan. Just in general, just kind of a lot. But I think at least with My Dress Up Darling, they're, you know, like, infatuated with each other. It makes more tension, so like for them it's just kind of like, ooh, you know, she's in the room like with them, even though nothing happened. It just like felt kind of like, oh, he's like blushing, you know. But then here it's just like, what is the point to adding all of that? Like, what is the point to having a monster like grab on her body? It just felt like there was no justification to why it's there. So I think that's why it really bothered me. It's just like, I just wanted to watch the show, and like that's just one of the main things that really bothered me. Like, I just felt like there was no point to it. So yeah, that was just my take. If you really do not like that stuff either, if you are not that into seeing like ecchi stuff in certain anime, then that might be a big con for you. Just letting you know, if you are gonna watch it, that's something that I really dislike. So if you're not okay with that or seeing that, then just keep that in mind.